Okay, hello everyone. So a couple things are happening right now. So I thought it would be a fun idea to go over a case study. You know, Harvard Business School, Stanford, they have some cool cases that are available online. And I figured, hey, I'll teach you how to make a good cocktail while we're going over the case, amateur style. So my girlfriend's behind the camera. I'm gonna pretend I'm just telling her about this case I just found. So first I'll give you a quick overview of the case, and then we'll go to the drink, and then we could enjoy the drink while we talk about the case. So I chose Chase Sapphire, creating a millennial cult brand, because I'm a bit of a fintech enthusiast. And basically this is what happened. So imagine we're in 2018. There's this lady named Codispati. She's also an HBS MBA. And I think she at the time she was the CEO of Chase Cards. And imagine it's July 2017. You just launched a credit card, right? And you have 12-month projections. And it's only been 2 months and you already beat that. Now that sounds like good news, but you offered 100,000 points. It's really good because all of your customers, they're all under 35. You really hit a nail with millennials. And it's just a social media frenzy. Like Chase Sapphire is like trending on Twitter. People on YouTube are uploading, they're unboxing things. You have influencers like talking about the card. And now you have like all the success, which seems good, but now you have a lot of decisions to make. First of all, you can't keep the 100,000 points forever. That was way too generous. It was supposed to be a niche product that took off. So when do you scale it back to 50,000 points, right? How do you make all these new millennials coming into JPMorgan profitable for the firm? Are people going to stay with the card next year when there's not the promotional figure and you have to pay the $450 fee? So we're going to talk about all these challenges, try to think about it together, and then also how they launched, like the user interviews, how they like hit this nail when Amex is so strong in the space. So before we like continue with the case, let's start with the drink. So we're gonna do bee's knees, right? And for that you need some gin. So I'm an amateur, so I'm sure there's some of you guys out there that can do it a lot better than that. But okay, so we need first we do 2 ounces of gin, right? We're gonna throw it in here real quick. All right. And here I have some honey. So what I did is honey and water, just mixed it up together. And I personally like it a little bit sweet. So you're supposed to do 1 ounce, but I'm gonna do 2. All right. So you mix it there. All right. And this is amateur style, so please don't hate on me. And okay, the next part was lemon juice. Freshly squeezed lemons right here. My girlfriend's pointing right there. So I just grabbed some lemon and just squeezed some. Okay, 1/2 ounce. All right. So now we're gonna do some ice. Throw some ice in there. All right. And cover it up. So there's like a better form to do this. Okay. And then we should be good to go. All right, I think this is a fun little concept, cocktail in a case. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is, let's talk a little bit about the market so we know kind of what's going on, what information we need so we could have like a good opinion. So then you take a garnish. So I think you just like try to break off a lemon piece. I'm sure I'm doing this not the best way, but hey, look, then you go like this and you throw it in there. Let's taste it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now if I get a little nervous, I'll take a shot. All right. So let's talk about the market. So like this is data 2018. Let's imagine we're in 2016. The market's about $3 trillion in credit cards. Right now, it's probably a lot more. And you could tell that there's like some intense competition out there because like margins used to be 30% on 2015. They decreased to 25%, kind of shows the competition. And in the space, Well, before we get to that, top of wallet, that's something very important to know because people usually have like 2 or 3 credit cards, right, in our wallet, but we only use one regularly. Let me take a sip. This is good. You guys should make it at home. And so banks are doing all these crazy things so that you're the top of wallet. Every time you swipe, they want you to think of that card. And later, like we'll show you how they thought about it. And so to make a decision in this space, what do you need to know? So how does Chase, how does JPMorgan, how do they make their money? They have 3 sources of revenue. So Chase, not JPMorgan is a huge investment bank with different branches, but let's just focus on Chase. In this case, they're the issuers. So they're the one that gives you, the consumer, the credit card. And they make money through cardholder fees, like the annual fee, on the interest on the balance that you don't pay off, and also the interchange fee. So let's say you go to Walmart, it's $100. Walmart doesn't really see the $100 because there's a percentage that goes to Visa, and like Chase gets a cut of that too. So let's talk about the strategy. So like we just mentioned that it was a huge success in 2016, right? But it's important to note that in 2006, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JPMorgan, also an HBS MBA alum, he looked at the Chase portfolio, and even though they were strong in all the categories, he said like, hey, the affluent market, people making 100K to 500K, that's really attractive. Like, I think we could do better in that space, and that's because these people, like, they're young, they're only 15% of the market, but they're responsible for 50% of the spend. So he starts poaching a bunch of people from Amex. One of them was Gordon Smith. He became the CEO of the Chase cards, together with the ex-CEO, a woman named Sarah. I think she's also HBS. And basically they start doing a bunch of research, right? So they start looking into the market. So it's dominated by Amex, right? And Amex, like New York Times, they said, Amex has become rich by telling their members that they're the cream of the crop, right? That they're special. And nothing shows how special you are when you pull out your Amex and you hear that clunk on the table. And Amex, they refer to their clients as card members. On their credit card, it says member since this date. And that date represents the day you became financially successful, right? But as Chase starts to do its research with the millennials, they start to realize, this message doesn't resonate as much. Like when you pull out an Amex, you're saying you're rich, right? But when you pull out a Chase Reserve, they want you to think that you're interesting. So Chase starts to develop this proposition saying like, look, with this card, you're not showing you're rich, you're showing that you're interested. It's not a card to buy things, is a card to do things, right? Because they started looking at millennials. They love to travel to Thailand, this exotic trips, or taking a cab to Chinatown and having this amazing meal. So with that reasoning, that was enough to like craft. Now the next step is you have to start thinking of a mix of a couple things, right? You gotta have the right rewards. You got to offer the right points, the right interest rates. So you have to play with all of this to have a good proposition. They came up with their card, and they have a couple differentiating factors. So remember how we talked about the top of wallet, how that's so important? One of the things that Chase did, and I think Amex did this beforehand, but basically just like the metal of the card. It wasn't just plastic, it was metal alloy in the back end. So when you take out your card, like, and you give it to the salesperson, or you like tap it on the table, it kind of like, it just hits your brain with dopamine levels. And like what the users were saying, the clients, is like, every time I swipe my card, like Chase gets in my head. What else would a marketer want? That every time you swipe, like it gets in your head. So that was one. And just like 10 days after the launch, they ran out of the metal. So they had to send people plastic cards and then promise them that they'll send them the metal like as soon as they could. The other differentiating factor was, aside from all the points and stuff they offered, was their portal. So they had like a sleek portal, what mattered was that it was transparent. You could go to the portal, you'll see how many points you have and what you can claim to go on a trip, etc. Very transparent, not confusing at all. Like really hit a point with people. And when they launched, they did this really interesting things. First, instead of like launching through television, right? They used influencers. So the points guy. This was important because first it was more effective, and since they didn't blast the media, it made it seem like it was more exclusive. For example, they got Chrissy Teigen to like talk about her Chase card with James Corden. He like hosted a couple like chefs, this couple things that they could do with the Chase card, and as I mentioned, like it took off. So now we just mentioned like the launch, how they like talk to people, this differentiator with Amex, etc. Now let's talk about, let's say like you and me, we're Codispati, right? Like 12-month projections, like we beat that in 2 months. We're offering 10,000 points, cost a lot to the firm. Okay, next steps is, what do? Do we just cancel the 100,000 points, scale back to 50, like to stay within projections? Or do we say like, hey, this affluent people, they're really good business for the bank. Maybe we should lean in. And that's what they did. They extended the 100,000 promotion because they had all these affluent people coming in. They brought them in. They leaned in. And like how we could end this is in a conference call where analysts were asking JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon questions about their performance and like this cost that they were getting, that they were like the 100,000 points, it's a big cost to the bank, and the analysts were like probing JPMorgan on this cost, right? And something that Jamie Dimon said that makes a lot of sense is like, yes, like this is huge cost, and like you depreciate that over a 12-month period, right? But these customers that we brought onto the bank, they're going to be a lifelong partner with the bank, and we're going to need at least 7 years to like reap all these benefits. And when it comes to cards and all their businesses, they're playing the long game. And that's like a quick, basically that kind of like wraps up the case. So we just went through a case together. If you like this content, let me know, and we could do, this was an experiment. Let's see where we go from there. And I hope you could do this cocktail at home. Thanks.